arcade gamers, and welcome back to Biggie D's Arcade. Got a new computer set up here in my studio today. I've been troubleshooting my old computer ever since Sunday. Ran into some mic issues when we had Bill's Retro Show on, and you guys could hardly hear me. I went back, rewatched the stream, and that was 100% correct. I could hardly hear myself. So then as soon as I ended that stream, I started troubleshooting the issue. I was working with ChatGPT, going through like this laundry list of issues and how to resolve it. Pretty much tried everything. New drivers, new processor, motherboard drivers, new audio drivers, reinstalled Windows. Basically did anything and everything, changed out cords, everything I could try. Bottom line is, I have this gaming PC sitting to the right of me. It's been here for 7 years, or it's been in my possession for 7 years. I've been playing, started off playing computer games on it. Then I started streaming on it about 4 years ago. And I guess it's just, towards the end of its life. Got like USB ports going out on it. It's just not very reliable anymore. And so I plugged this other computer I have, which isn't a very powerful PC, in today just to test out the mics, make sure I can still stream properly. And then big news, I ordered a new PC yesterday. Should arrive next week. I made a community post about it today. So hopefully I'll get that soon. I can start getting that set up, and we can get back on track with these streams. But I think the audio is good. I tested it all earlier right before I went live, and everything sounded really good. This mic that I've been using for a couple years now, I've always liked this one, especially when I use OBS. It seems like the audio is just really good with this one. Like if you watch my latest video, I used this one. I just thought it sounded great. But something about it, it's not very reliable anymore. Even when I plug this into this other PC I'm on right now, I'll still have slight issues with it. So I think this is towards the end of its life also. So I'm going to stick with this mic that I have here, but I was tweaking it earlier, and it sounds pretty good, I think. So you guys let me know in the chat, if I sound all right, and I'll keep working on improvements if they're needed. It looks like Provolone Joe's here. He's saying same topics as the other night. Absolutely. I just want to really do this stream to kind of test everything, make sure this PC will work for Sunday when we do another live stream until my new one arrives. Also, I wanted to go back over all the slides that we had covered with Bill on Sunday, because I really didn't get to give my opinion. I mean, I was trying to, but you guys couldn't hear me. So going to go back over everything, just kind of give my opinion on it. And cover it with you guys tonight. Prince Vinny 007. Hi, Biggie D, pal. Good to see you. Glad you made it. So Calvin Wong is also here as well with the grin. Good to see you, buddy. Glad to see everyone here in the chat already. So let's go ahead and get on it. I'm going to put a poll in here just to kind of gauge, because we're going to be talking a lot about Arcade1up. So, which Arcade1up are you most excited for? And we're going to put in there Big Buck, Mossy Oak. We're going to put in T2 Deluxe. And we'll put in neither. You don't have interest in either of these, and you would want to see something different. These aren't the ones that you're most interested in. So I'll put that in the poll there, and we'll get some votes going. So which Arcade1up are you most excited for? Big Buck, Mossy Oak, T2, or neither? Let us know what you think. Papa Brad's Gaming is here. He's saying none. I know you've only got, what, one Arcade1up left, or maybe none at this point? So I understand you probably aren't the target customer for these. All right, guys, so let's get into it. So we had two of these kind of leaked through a Canadian website last week, and they're two deluxe style cabinets. Probably seen a lot on this over this last week. So let's take a look at the first one, the Big Buck And let's get these slides up here where we can see them. There we go. All right. So this is your Big Buck Hunter Deluxe. And this is a Mossy Oak edition. I really like the artwork on this. I think it looks really good. You know, you compare it with the previous models that had the authentic artwork, and I don't know what it is about that artwork. I just wasn't the biggest fan of it, but I think the camo really matches the theme of this. It really looks pretty sleek. You know, I used to do a lot of deer hunting growing up. We have about 200 acres in central Texas where we do deer hunting. And so this is like right up my alley. You know, I've always kind of been interested in one of these, and I tried to explain on Sunday, really the only concern I have with this, and probably what's prevented me from really running out and getting one, is the screen size, that you only have that 17-inch screen. And then you've also got the send-in technology, which gives a border around that screen, making it even smaller. So you realistically are going to have about a 16-inch screen. So that's been my biggest, I guess, drawback and kind of prevented me from really just running out and getting one. Now, if I could find like an amazing deal on one of these, then certainly I would be, you know, trying to get one. But at $5.99, $6.99, whatever these are going to go for, just don't know yet if this is going to be in my game room. Even though I would love to have one. I love the game. I think having this one would be great. I don't have a light gun arcade yet, so this would be a good one for me. Out of all the ones that are available, you know, that have come around, the Time Crisis, the T2, are there any others outside of the T2 and the Time Crisis? I don't believe so, but this one's always been my favorite that they've put out. But one thought I've always had with these is I feel like they would best be served to make a pedestal. You know, don't even try to produce one with a screen, with a marquee, because you're not giving us a lit marquee. You're not giving us a big enough screen. Just chop off the top, make it a pedestal style arcade that has an HDMI out that we could just plug into any TV, you know, bring our own TV. I think that's the route they really need to go moving forward. And I think that's highly possible that could end up happening eventually, because if you guys have seen, this is the 4th version of this Big Buck Hunter Pro. You remember the original it was their very first light gun arcade was Big Buck Pro. That one was with the riser. Then they came out with the Deluxe. And then we also covered on Sunday that Walmart is still selling the Classic, which came out last year, which is essentially the original without the riser, for $3.99. So this is the 4th version or iteration of the Big Buck Hunter Pro by Arcade1up. So if these keep selling and they keep doing well and they're profitable for the company, I think that's what's really going to open up their eyes to feedback and what community's saying, things like that, to potentially open the door for a pedestal style or a big screen, you know, bring your own screen, bring your own monitor type setup. So you guys keep putting in your feedback out there, letting the community know. Hopefully Arcade1up on their next version will give us that, because I think that's the solution to giving us like the ultimate Big Buck Hunter arcade. Let's see what some of the chat's saying. Looks like we got a lot of chats coming in. I want to make sure everyone's included. Video Game Vegas says, I don't have any interest in either, but I'm interested in Biggie D. I appreciate that. Thank you, brother. Let's see. Video Game Vegas also says, I love the look of the Big Buck World better than the new camo. See, I'm the opposite. I like the camo better. And we'll look here at a side-by-side here in a moment to kind of compare. Tomato Sauce is here. He just changed his name. He used to be G-Force Guy. Now he's Tomato Sauce. Sup, Biggie? Sup, Brad? Sup, Ball? Good to see you, buddy. I know you're probably the biggest VR channel out there, at least the one that I come across. You have some excellent content in the VR world. Looks like that's like your real passion, and I just love watching your videos, your shorts. Really good content. Go check out Tomato Sauce. You may have seen him in the chat before as G-Force Guy. Good to see you, buddy. B. Kirby's here. He says, unfortunately, these will never go on sale the way they used to. The days of getting $200, $300 sales are over. And that's what was one of my favorite parts about this Arcade1up hobby, was the deals and the shopping for deals. You know, they were mass producing these cabinets, putting out, 10 new cabinets a year, high inventory within the retailers, and we were seeing deals. You know, I can run through, and I've done this many times on my arcades, run through the prices I've paid for each and every one of my Arcade1ups. I've all gotten them at around half or less. So you look at the MSRP price, every single Arcade1up I've bought at least half or less than the MSRP. And that was always my favorite part of the hobby. That's kind of ceased since, you know, things financially haven't gone so well for them. We haven't been seeing those deals, mainly because they haven't been mass producing the arcades like they used to, which hasn't really given us the opportunity to get those deals. But we're starting to see some signs of life again with these new cabinets. And if these do well for them, they're successful at the end of this year. Going into next year, we can get back into that normal routine of shopping deals every week, seeing, you know, which Arcade1ups are marked down and trying to find those deals, because that is a lot of fun. That's always been my favorite part about the hobby. Video Game Vegas says, Biggie D's Arcade, we got in on the 3/4 hobby at the right time, paid what they were worth. Yes. Now, there may be an arcade that comes around that, you know, I want to pay full price for. That has not happened yet. If any of them really gave me the FOMO to pay full price, it would have been this Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I really wanted a Marvel vs. Capcom cabinet. Over all the years of collecting, for the first several years of Arcade1up collecting, that was the cabinet I wanted. And just waited it out, ended up getting it for $350 from Best Buy. And that was a very short sell. It was only about a week they had them at that price. But that's the way to go, man. Get them at a good deal. Papa Brad's Gaming, it says, always wait for the deals. You also will see he has got an emoji or ability to use emojis. He's also got a badge. He's a member of the channel. Definitely, if you guys want to support Biggie D's Arcade, help you know, keep this train going. You know, you can support for 99 cents a month, less than $1. You'll get those badges, you'll get those emojis, and it's great in helping support us. Video Game Vegas says, I paid full price for my Arcade1up Star Wars, so worth it. Look at this, guys. We got a $4.99 super chat from Tomato Sauce. He says, had to change the name in case NVIDIA didn't want to use GeForce. Thanks for the plug. I figured since my content is bloody, this fits more, LOL. Absolutely. I think it's a great idea. You know, NVIDIA uses that GeForce name. Don't want to run into any issues with that. Changing it to Tomato Sauce, I thought was a good one. I like your new intros and everything you have going. Also, your shorts, they are really bloody. They are really violent. So I think it definitely fits the theme. Really appreciate the $4.99. I would run a Super Chat video, but I don't have those Super Chat videos loaded up on this PC yet, or I would have had one for you, Tomato Sauce. I appreciate the $4.99. So let's get back. Let's take a look here at these other slides. These are the ones that we had covered last Sunday. And so this is your side panel here. Mossy Oak. You got the camo all the way down. You also got the Raw Thrills, Play Mechanics, and Arcade1up logo there. I think they could have definitely left that Arcade1up logo off on the side. I think on the original, it had the Raw Thrills and Play Mechanics, but did not have that Arcade1up logo in the lower right there. I guess they're just really trying to get that brand recognition out there and just having it on there as much as possible. And I understand their thinking, and I just think it kind of takes away from the look of the cabinet when you have too many of those logos. Because look, at the front you got four Arcade1up logos. So they're all kind of small on the front, but you got one, it appears up in the marquee. You have one in the bezel at the top. You have one at the top of the kick plate, and you have one on the coin door. So they're going for 4 logos on the front. I think they're definitely overdoing it with this one. Also, I want to take a look at the games list. So it's the 4 games included are the Big Buck Hunter Pro, the Big Buck Hunter Pro Open Season, Big Buck Safari Outback. And one thing we did cover with Bill's Retro Show, and I want to give him credit because he had brought this up, and we were looking at the Big Buck arcade that you will find Reloaded. Reloaded is what it is. And I want to take a look at that because if we really want to kind of look at far into the future for like what is Arcade1up's ultimate goal, or what do we want to see ultimately from Arcade1up. And like I said, I want to see that pedestal design. So let's take a look at this image here. Get one up. This will work. And it'll give us the games, like all the games that come on this. And wouldn't it be amazing not to just get a pedestal design, but to get the reloaded games list. So let's take a look at that. So here's your Big Buck Hunter Pro Reloaded. It features Terminator Salvation, Monsters, Lost Island, Bow Hunting, Duck Dynasty, and a zombie game, plus 10, so a total of 10 games with this one, including the Big Buck Hunter game. This, I think, if you're looking like far into the future, like if Arcade1up were to continue to stay successful, continue to like produce these, and this is like their bread and butter is the Big Buck Hunter, wouldn't it be great for them to like bring a premium line where they do give us like a pedestal design, we bring our own TV, and give us this expanded games list with a higher end PCB, a higher end chipset, where we can run these more modern games. You know, like with Golden Tee, we're playing the older Golden Tee games, not the newer ones. Same thing with the Big Buck, we're playing the older versions of the Big Buck games. Wouldn't it be great to get the newer versions? This was March 2020, so that was 5 years ago that they had produced and released this. I think the technology is getting there now where they can financially, reasonably make a PCB that could run these more modern arcade games, because even these ones that we consider modern are still getting a little bit older and they're starting to age. I mean, this is 5 years old, and we would consider that to be extremely modern compared to what we're playing on the Arcade1up. So let's get back to that slide there, and we'll pick back up where we were left off on the Big Buck games list. So this is your 4 games. Unfortunately, it's the same 4 games we've seen on all 4 versions of the Big Buck. Nothing new there. So I can't tell you for sure, but I can 100% almost say with certainty that this is the same PCB we've seen in the other 3 versions, which is that low-powered version, which isn't going to run much more than what they're offering here. So next, this is the box itself. Looking at the box, we've got the 4 games listed on there. We've got also we were with Bill on Sunday. We were wanting to question and kind of do some speculation on, is this box smaller or is it bigger than the standard deluxe boxes we've been seeing lately? Because you have like the NBA Jam Deluxe, which is a very slim, small design form factor. We noticed that boxes were reduced, the size of them were reduced greatly whenever they went to that form factor. But looking at the dimensions on this new one, this is not, I would not consider this a slim edition arcade. They've actually increased the size from the previous version. Also, this is a good side-by-side, guys, if you were curious as to what the artwork looks like on the old version compared to the new version. This graphic here really kind of sets that scene for you to kind of show you the differences. And I like the grass, I like the water, I like the scenery of the Big Buck Hunter, but just more of a basic look with the camo on it, I like that even better. A lot of the arcades that I've gotten in my home over the years have had like a lot of black on it. They haven't been very bright. They haven't really stood out a lot. I never really liked that look in my home. So like I never got the yellow Pac-Man. There's been some other arcades that are just really bright, like Time Crisis. Was never really fully interested in getting one of those because of just how much those arcades stand out. I more so like the black, more kind of try to keep them all looking similar. And I think with the camo, even though it's not black, it is more of a streamlined look, and it doesn't stand out as much as like the original artwork did. It just seems too busy, I would say, with the original artwork. Even though I think it looks good, I just think it's a little too busy for a side panel. And then that blue there on the kick plate, just not really digging that look as much as I am with the full look of the camo throughout the artwork. Also, like I said, I'm a big hunter. I've worn a lot of this mossy oak camo over the years doing the hunting. I know how big of a part it is in the sport, in the hobby. So I really think it fits that look of that arcade. Also, let's take a look at the dimensions as well. We're looking at 68.9 inches tall. If you look at the previous version, it's 68.3 inches tall. So it is actually a little bit taller, not by much. I mean, we're only talking, 4 or 5 inches taller, but any additional height I think is great, especially on this model, because this was already a tall arcade. They had already increased the height of the screen from the previous version with the Deluxe. Now it's actually going a little bit higher, a little bit taller design, so I'm definitely a fan of that. Also, it appears that the form factor is a little bit different on this one as well. Similar, but the cut isn't exact. It's actually a little bit different. Even if you look at the depth, it has just a, what would we call that? 0.06 inches more depth. So it's not an exact, and if you look at the bottom, the width is the exact same. So this is not a slim arcade where we've been seeing them go with that slim with all the others. They did not with this one for whatever reason. And I don't know the decision-making process behind that, why they're going with like an actual bigger cabinet than the previous one where we're seeing smaller with the others. Maybe that had something to do with Raw Thrills and what they wanted, or maybe this had something to do internally with Arcade1up. They were able to price out these parts better, or mark them up a little bit higher, better profit margin than redeveloping or doing the development of a complete new design. Because even if they were to go with a slim design, and maybe in the long run it may save them some money, they may see a little bit higher profits on that margin. There is still development cost. Back when I used to have discussions with John D, right after he had left Arcade1up, something he had expressed to me and something I'd learned from him was there are development costs with Arcade1up, and anytime they produce something new where they're not reusing everything and they have to do something entirely new, that incurs development cost. And that's a big part of their decision-making process when making new cabinets. So maybe some of the reason why we're seeing an almost identical design as the previous version is it incurred less development cost, and maybe they see that they're not going to make as much money in the future on this cabinet, but it's a profitable enough cabinet where they can do that. Like I said, it's the 4th version that they've done of this, so this is definitely a successful one, and maybe they don't see the need to reduce the size of the cabinet like they have with their other cabinets. So those are just some thoughts I'm having. But again, these are not, facts. These are not, I don't have any inside source on this. This is just all speculation. So keep that in mind, a little bit of a disclaimer. Next, we're going to look at the T2. This is the Deluxe, and this one actually is a slimmer design. We're about to look at that here in just a moment. I Kickabod Crane is here. Good to see you, buddy. He says, hey, Biggie D. Great to see you in the chat. Thanks for joining us. Papa Brad's Gaming says, one gun shooter multicade is better call than this monstrous thing. Video Game Vegas says, that makes sense now, Biggie. I didn't realize you wanted symmetry with how your cabs look, as opposed to I'd prefer them to all look different. I feel blessed that I'm able to do that. Yeah, so just kind of point out, there's a lot of black on the Marvel vs. Capcom. There's a lot on the Final Fight, on the Killer Instinct, the Marvel superheroes. I even went with the black Miss Pac-Man. And really is that I just wanted kind of those to all kind of not stand out too much. I wanted them all kind of, when you walk into the arcade, see a bunch of arcades, but not have one really standing out. Mainly because it's in my home. Now, if I go into the arcade, I want them to be as flashy as possible. I want them to all look different, and just go as extreme with the artwork as you can. But for a home arcade, I just look at it a little bit differently. Papa Brad's Gaming says, Biggie D was also right about the HDMI out on the gun pedestal would make sense for many arcade gamers. Absolutely. Arcades all have different shapes and games, or all different shapes of games. All right, so let's go back. Here's the T2. We get one classic with this. This is, again, just that one T2 game. I'd said in my video, I really wish they would have given us at least one additional game. One that I thought, and I mentioned this on my video, that I thought would have really fit this cabinet would have been another Midway title, which would have been the Aerosmith Revolution X. It uses a, like if you go to the arcade, it uses a similar gun. The cabinet is almost identical. What better game to throw on this than that one, I thought. Of course, there are going to be some licensing issues. There's going to be, you know, cost involved with Aerosmith signing off on something like that. They're probably going to want some royalties for that. But being that you're not putting all that on the artwork, you just have the game loaded on there, I think it would have been obtainable. I think they could have done that if they had really pushed for it. So, unfortunately, just one game. Same light guns, those little plastic, the blue and red ones, online leaderboard. So at least it's online ready. You get the online leaderboards. Also, something good about that is they can do updates. So one thing that they had done on the original T2 was there was a lot of issues, a lot of bugs with the original version of this game on the Arcade1up. They ended up releasing an update which fixed a lot of those issues. And they were able to do that because this is online ready. It's, you know, connected to the internet, and they're able to send updates to the machine whenever they feel like they would want to do that. Also, we've seen that like with the Ridge Racer game, they've added games through that online, so with updates. So that also leaves the door open where if they really wanted to add a second game to this arcade, essentially, technically, they could do that. And we've seen them do that in the past. Also, you've got originally licensed artwork. That, I think, is one of the biggest selling points for this cabinet, is that original licensed artwork. You know, watching PD7's video on Sunday, he had talked about this and how he had his T2 right at the front door of his arcade. As soon as he walks in, that's the first thing he sees. And that has so much to do with Arnold being on the artwork. I thought that was a really big win for Arcade1up, was to get Arnold on that artwork and to have him so prominent on it, just like on the original, making it look as authentic as possible. So good job. Way to go. Props to Arcade1up for getting that done. Light up marquee. So like one thing we noticed on the Big Buck and what we've seen on all the versions of it is it does not have a light up marquee. Why it doesn't, I could speculate on. I did in the video. Cost is definitely going to be one. I think they're trying to reduce the cost of that Big Buck for whatever reason. Don't know the details of that. Also, I think a big part of it was that the send-in border that it creates around that screen in order to recognize the crosshair and make that accurate, the light from the marquee can take away from that accuracy. So maybe with Big Buck, there's something within the programming of that game which prevents them from being able to use a marquee or a lit marquee. Now with T2, does not seem to be an issue. They had the lit marquee on the original. They're going with that again on this one. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the original was $700. This one, I believe, is only going to be $600. So they were able to keep that lit marquee and not have to charge us that extra amount, that extra 100 on top. So I think this is all win. Now let's get into some of the negatives, and mostly that's going to have to do with the artwork here on the side panels. On the original, Arnold's a little bit higher on that side panel. Being that this is a deluxe style, it's going to be a slimmer version, which we're going to look at here in a moment. It forced them to move that Arnold down farther, leaving that huge upper area just blank with nothing up there. A lot of people will put a big Midway logo up there at the top across the side panel where the marquee area is. So that would be an area you can fill up with that Midway logo. But under that, between there and where Arnold will be, will just stay empty with this version. This is the games list, so it is that just one Terminator 2 Judgment Day game, but it also includes behind-the-scene bonus footage. That's likely just going to be the same exact bonus footage that was on the original, but like I had speculated, hopefully they're bringing us something new with this one. Doubtful, but hopeful. that, you know, maybe there's some movie behind the scene footage, additional making of the game, something in there extra. Not going to keep my, you know, I wouldn't put money on it, and I wouldn't hold my breath that there is anything extra, but fingers crossed that they do. Now this box here, we were talking about how that I don't think that box on the big buck is going to be any smaller. I do think with the T2 it will, because this is a slim design. This is 100% a slim version of the cabinet. And let's take a look at these dimensions. That way we can compare the two. You're going to see on the original it was 65.51 inches tall, so almost 66 inches tall. This one's coming in at 61.5, so it's almost a half a foot shorter than the original, so it's much shorter. Also, the depth, the width, all that's going to be less on this one. They did include the coin door. Good job for that. I do like that. Now, there is some speculation on the marquee. We still haven't seen the actual unit itself, just these renders. But hopeful that that marquee looks better as well. The original was kind of washed out. Didn't look very good. A lot of people had to get that Joe Szabo's marquee replacement. With the new one, hopefully they've resolved that, because we've noticed on recent cabinets that the marquees actually look pretty good. Seems like they've been able to figure that out, and that's something that they can definitely improve is that area. No riser with this one, so you're losing all that riser art on the bottom, but definitely there's going to be, you know, boosters, risers, I think, that are going to be made for this cabinet, or art packages. Like if you're able to use the standard inline riser that Arcade1up is selling now for this cabinet, hopefully there's art packages where you can put that T2 art on that booster or on that riser. Also, I think Buy Stuff Store, G.I. Joel, those aftermarket third-party companies will definitely be trying to get in on this as well and make their own version of an inline or booster riser for these cabinets, because it's definitely going to be a need. No doubt about it. People are going to want this cabinet to be taller. I don't think the depth is a deal killer. Like I'm in a pretty small room here in this little studio area. I don't have much room behind me between the back of my chair and these arcades. So less depth isn't a deal killer for me, actually, especially on a cabinet like this where you don't have the joysticks or the buttons. You're just holding a send and light gun and you're standing away from the arcade. You know, you're not going to be worried about the cabinet moving or not being stable enough. So that's not a deal killer for me. But the height definitely is. The height 100% has to be a certain height for me to enjoy the game. And, you know, if I were to buy this cabinet, I would already be factoring in that booster or that riser and the cost of that into the purchase of this cabinet, because it's just not going to be tall enough. Just can tell you right out the gate, it's not going to be tall enough. Now the claw machine, we had talked about this. There was an email that went out last week where Arcade1up is advertising that the claw machine is back in stock, and you can get this again. I think this is like the third time they've re-upped on inventory for the claw machine. So if you guys are interested in getting this, you're going to have opportunity to do it, because there's going to be plenty of inventory of these. These seem to be doing well. Again, you can redo the artwork any way you want. There's a lot of art packages for these. Now, would I get one of these claw machines? I think it's all going to come down to like what we were discussing earlier, which are the deals. I'm going to be shopping for deals, and I'm going to be open to a lot of things that I normally wouldn't be too inclined to get if the price is low enough. So these I think are going for $500. You know, if I was to get one for $250, $200, I think it's a buy. And I would probably get one just to have it in the arcade. You know, why wouldn't a claw machine fit in the arcade? It absolutely would. And it'd be kind of fun to mod it and put my own artwork on it, put my own toys in it, you know, things like that. So definitely a claw machine would be up my alley at the right price, but I'm not going to run out and get one of these. And I don't even think I would pay $300 for one. I think my starting point for one of these would be around 250. And if that would happen, I would definitely be on that story and, you know, sharing that information with you guys so you can make good decisions, good purchasing decisions, and save some money if you were to want one. So yeah, claw machine. I think, you know, talking about, you know, deals and things like that, this is one of those ones that are prime for a deal too, because they've re-upped this now for the third time. I don't think they're stocking as much inventory in the past as they were before. I think they're smarter about that. They're only probably ordering what they think they can sell. But there's still, I think, opportunity there to get savings and, you know, closeout specials, things like that, especially around Black Friday, Christmas, right after Christmas. If there's extra inventory in stock, maybe get some closeout prices. So just some things to think about going into the second half of this year. Video Game Vegas says Biggie all in on the claw machine at $100. Devastator Omega says any Arcade1up not paying above what PS5 or Xbox S X cost. Right. We're going to get in here in a moment on a purchase I made, a big purchase I made, and just kind of tell you guys, you know, some things that other things that I was interested in getting, which were in that same price range. I'm kind of glad I waited because I needed the money to upgrade something, which was that computer I told you. We're going to go over that here in just a moment. Got an excellent deal on a computer. So let's look next here at the Williams pinball. This was the Zen Williams pinball announcement. This was a story I was very interested in. I've been following a lot and wanted to share it with you guys. Let's see here too if there's any other chats. Video Game Vegas says, I have a Buy Stuff Arcades riser on his Time Crisis. Definitely helps. Yes, they did make a booster that rose that a little bit higher, brings that screen up, makes it a lot more comfortable to play, and enjoyment factor goes way up when that screen's higher. Feels more like a real arcade. He says, I also had to get the 7-inch riser for my riser on the original Arcade1up Big Buck because of how small that original Big Buck was. All right, so this is that Williams pinball announcement. So it was a little over a week ago. They had put out this thumbnail for their video, and they put it on Twitter and all that, that there's a new Williams pinball pack coming. There's going to be 3 new games. They had teased the first one that they were going to announce, which let's take a look here at my short. This is a short I put out about it. Basically manufactured before 1990, and they had sold over 3,000 units. So my first, this was my first one that I wanted to see of these 3. Number 1, which was made and fit this criteria. So let's look at that criteria one more time before we get into these tables. So manufactured before 1990 and sold over 3,001 units, not 3,000, 3,001. So I did my research to find out there's many Williams tables that fit this criteria. There may be 10, there may be 20. There's a lot. But my number 1 was Elvira and the Party Monsters. I've gotten a chance to play this table at Starfighters Arcade. This is an image of the actual table I was standing in front of. They actually have all 3 of them. They have Elvira and the Party Monsters. They had Scared Stiff, and then they've got the modern Stern one as well. They've got all 3 lined up next to each other, but I got a chance to play this one, and this is an excellent pinball machine. Even though it was made so long ago, in the 80s, it still feels modern today, and this one's in such great shape. I actually enjoy this one more than the other 2 that were released after it. So I just think if like there's an ultimate Williams pinball table that Zen Studios can bring to the FX platform, the VR, 4KP, it's definitely this Elvira and the Party Monsters. There is going to be some licensing issues. There's definitely going to be royalties that they have to pay out to the Elvira brand and that actor. So definitely going to, you know, take some legwork to make this happen. But I think this is the big one that I think everyone wants to see, not just myself. I've been hearing it around just how many people really want to see this one. So you guys let me know in the chat, you know, which one do you guys want to see? Hollywood Polo says, Biggie D in the weekly top 40. Hi, peeps. Good to see you, buddy. Glad you made it. And we're just going through some tables here. So this is the one I was playing. We're going to just get a very short clip of Elvira and the Party Monsters. Get a real good look at it here at Starfighters. So here's kind of just over the top look of it. Prince Vinny 007's here. He's saying, hey, pal, how is your Time Crisis modded? Where you got the mod from? Talking to Video Game Vegas. Good to see you, buddy. So here it is. And then you got the back glass, which, you know, it's not a modern back glass. It doesn't have like a modern DMD, but still that artwork looks great. Look at that artwork on that back glass. And the Party Monsters, I think a lot of like the Dracula, the Mummy, some of these are fitting in some of the other Bally's William games as well. It's not just Elvira. They call it Elvira and the Party Monsters because there's a lot of other characters in here as well. And look at this topper. Just a great looking topper. And man, just think too, like if Williams was able to achieve this and bring this table to the Williams pack, right, that they're about to release, that would then open the door for it to release on the At Games 4KP. And let's say it did release on the At Games 4KP. That then opens the door for the potential of a Elvira skin. How amazing would it be for At Games to get that? I mean, we've heard a lot of people wanting Star Wars, but I think right up there with Star Wars would be an Elvira skin. And wouldn't it be great to get this topper, you know, to get the premium version with this Elvira topper on your 4KP At Games pinball? I just think that would be so great. Next, we're going to get in my next pick, which is going to be the F14 Tomcat. And let's bring up some chats here before we get into that one. Papa Brad's Gaming says Elvira would most likely be a single pack table like Indiana Jones. I definitely think you're on the money with that. It is worth it. A $15 pack would sell. You know, why, you know, put it on a multi-pack when this one really could and deserves its own, you know, Elvira single pack. Right on the money. I think you're right. Prince Vinny saying nice. Video Game Vegas says at Papa Brad's Gaming, if Elvira comes to the VR, no one will leave back to the real world. So many mountains to climb. Or an Elvira double pack. Yes, absolutely. So my next pick was the F14 Tomcat. This table here is really cool. It's very different than other pinball tables that I've played in that the speed and the pace of this one. I mean, it just rockets that ball up those lanes. So you see the lane on the left side and the right side. It's like a rocket moving around the table. And you really have to be ready to go. I mean, you got to have probably be ahead of it a little bit and anticipate it a little bit more than what you would on other pinball tables just because of the speed and the pace of this. And it really fits the theme as well because this is F14 Tomcat. This is a fighter jet. And they're trying to fit that theme, and it certainly does it with this table. It's just really fun to play. A lot of it is just learning the pace of it too. You know, it's very difficult to play at first, just because it's so much to take in at first how fast it's moving. But once you get used to it, you're able to pick up on, you know, how quick you have to be with the flippers on this one. It's a lot of fun, and this would be a great addition, I think, to this pack. And it fits that, but made before 1990, sold over 3,000 units. So this is definitely a good one. I would like to see it. I think this one has a very high likelihood, where Elvira, I really just want to kind of tell you guys up front and be honest, I don't think we're going to get Elvira. I just think there's too many licensing issues with that one. Even though it's my number one and I want to see it, realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. But with the F14 Tomcat, I definitely think this one is. This one's very likely, I think. So just taking an overhead look on this, and you can see all the wire ramps up there, all the lighting. Great looking back box there. Great looking artwork on that back box. And this one I just think would be an excellent addition for that pack. No doubt about it. And there's another look at it. And you could see those lights that go up those lanes there on the left and the right. And just looking at that lighting and how good that would look like on the 4KP or in VR. I just think this would be such a good one to get. Would love to have this. Mickey Ute is here saying, Biggie D, they already said the other two Williams tables are from the 90s. Yes, so this one, oh, they said they are from the 90s. They're not before the 90s. Okay, so Mikey just kind of ruled out my picks already. Well, they could still happen sometime in the future, hopefully. Tomcat is an amazing table. Prince Vinny says, yes, I would love to see it and was an expensive mod, the Shooter PC mod. Mikey also says Elvira is from 1989, so we can roll that one out according to Mikey's information on these having to be after 1990. I did not hear that. You'll have to share with us where you got that information that these next two that are about to be announced here in about a week are from the 90s, because I'd be interested to see that. He says, LOL, Biggie, they said the other two are from the 90s. Okay, well, let's try and find that. Show me where that is so I can find that. Also, I want to bring up this poll because we've now moved on to Williams. We'll look at this one more time at the end of the stream, but which Arcade1up are you most excited for? We got the Big Buck Hunter Mossy Oak with 8%. We've got the T2 Deluxe with 15%, and with a solid 77% neither. So neither is the popular option there, with over 75%, with 77% saying they don't want either. 13 votes already, guys. Keep voting. Keep letting people know what you feel about these arcades, if you want one, if you don't want either. All right, so that is F-14 Tomcat. And then my third was Taxi. This was another one I wanted to see. Now, what's interesting about this one is this is not one where I went into it liking this game or being attracted to this pinball table, thinking it would be a fun table. But once I got a chance to play it, that all changed. This is a really entertaining, fun pinball table. There's a lot to this one. If you look in the back box, you got Santa Claus, you've got the Dracula, you've also got Pinbot in the back of that back glass as well. So there's a lot going in on this table. There's a lot of Easter eggs and characters within this one. It's a lot of fun. Taxi. This is a classic. It was a big seller, and this is a good one here. So you can see a good look at the table here going up it. And one thing I really like about the back box on this is you see the digital. This was before the DMDs, where they had the digital DMDs with just the lines with the scores. You see how they did the jackpot, and they kind of made it look like a taxi, and the basically the reader that reads like how much you owe them at the end of the ride. They made that the score, and they made it within the back box. But what I thought was cool is it's not even straight. They actually moved it to like where it's at an angle, so it would fit the artwork. And when and you may not come through on this video, but when you're in front of it, that's really impressive, especially for a table that came from the 80s. Just having that not only be within the art like that, integrated into the artwork on the back glass, but to have them go as far as actually moving it and adjusting the position of it to help fit that back glass artwork. I thought that was really impressive what they did with that. Also, looking at the topper as well, pretty basic topper, but it definitely fits that taxi theme and what you would see on a real taxi in the 80s in New York or something. So this is a great table. I thought they did a really good job with it. Again, not one that I went into thinking I would really like, but one I ended up really enjoying. So these were my three. These were the numbers: 8,100 units, 1987 for F-14 Tomcat, 4,000 units, 1989 for Elvira, Taxi 1988 with 5,000 units. Now, the one that we did get, so they actually announced this. We know the first table, and evidently, according to Mikey, this is the only one that's going to fit that criteria of being made before 1990. So we can pretty much essentially roll those other ones out that were on my top 3 now. But Pinbot, and I knew this was probably the one. This was, I think, everyone's guess on which one we were going to get, because we already had Brida Pinbot, and of course, it'd be easy for them to develop this one, being that they already had the license on Brida Pinbot. So this is a good table, though. It's a popular one. People seem to really like it. Also, I thought it was interesting that there was a pinball game that came out for the NES. Really makes me want to go back and play this now on, I've got plenty of devices I can play NES ROMs on. Makes me want to go get the ROM for this Pinbot NES game and play it. Or even, find the original cart and play it on the original hardware would be a lot of fun too. But I did not know this until I started doing a little bit of research on Pinbot to know that it actually came out on the NES, believe it or not. That's how popular this pinball table was back then. Mikey says, awesome. Video Game Vegas. Video Game Vegas says, I'm sad that no one is making some of the Data East pinball classics like Star Wars or Star Trek. I know. We're really missing out on some great titles. Star Wars is up at the top of my list. Also Star Trek as well. He says he never cared for the Taxi license, but the table's fun. Papa Brad's Gaming says, so 77% of the live viewers are not interested. That is, we're at 75% now, so we've got another vote for Arcade1up. We've got 16 votes. Make sure to let your thoughts be known in that poll so we can go over that at the end of the stream. Mikey Yoon says, you're awesome, Video Game Vegas. Thanks for the words of encouragement. I'm not a YouTuber, not trying to be, just co-hosting for Papa Brad. I watched you guys the other day, and I thought you did excellent, Mikey. I hope to see you more on Papa Brad's live streams or others' live streams. Maybe even get you on as a guest on mine here soon would be a lot of fun. Definitely keep pursuing that YouTube commentary, because you have a lot to share. RetroTech X, RTX Pinball, says, Taxi. Good to see you, RetroTech. He would like to see Taxi. I think a lot of us really would like to see that title. If you've ever gotten a chance to play it, you'll see what we're talking about. It's a really good pinball table from the 80s. So this was the artwork I'd created. Thought it really fit that FX3 pinball art, as well as I thought it really fit like the artwork for the Arcade1up Williams pinball table I have. These are just some nice graphics I'd made for my top 3. But, looking at this, talking about Pinbot, isn't it interesting? You got Pinbot in the artwork. And I love this about how Williams did this back in the day, how they would take their licenses and they would overlap and they would put Easter eggs and hidden, things into the game to make it more fun and to make it more where you can, play it and have memories of other pinball tables you played from Williams. I thought that was really cool. Kind of how like they're doing in movies nowadays with the multiverse and bringing characters from other movies into newer movies. Williams was kind of like doing this back in the 80s with their pinball tables, bringing Pinbot into the Taxi game. And they did this a lot. Also, we talked about how Pinbot has Mortal Kombat. So there's like an advertisement for Mortal Kombat 3 in Jackbot. So they're talking about Pinbot. There's 3 Pinbots. There's Pinbot, Brida Pinbot, and Jackbot. And Jackbot actually has an Easter egg for Mortal Kombat 3 in it. And there were a lot of arcades and within the arcade advertisements for Mortal Kombat games back then, because Williams Midway was all under the same company ownership, and they would advertise other arcades within some of their pinballs and stuff like that. Also, if there was the creator, Ed Boon, of Mortal Kombat, was a part of some pinball tables back during this time, making pinball tables. So a lot of hidden stuff in these games if you really look for it. This was a comment I had made on the Twitter X for Zen Studios. I said Elvira and the Party Monsters, and they said, who knows? Stay tuned to find out. So that response didn't really make me too confident that Elvira was going to be the next one. But this one was, where I said 2 more tables left. Hopefully Elvira and the Party Monsters and Taxi. And Pinball FX responded, it would be cool. Stay tuned for our next Bites episode to see if you're right. So they didn't say no. They didn't give me a comment where it was like, you're way off. You know, like the previous one, I felt like I was way off with just Elvira and the Party Monsters. But this one, they led us to the next stream. So maybe Taxi is indeed part of this next pack. Until Mikey said that the next 2 are from the 90s, I was like very confident in Taxi being one of the 3 in this next pack, just based on this response from Pinball FX. Another thing I like about Zen Studios is if you follow their social media and you make comments, you're active on their social media, they will actually respond to your comments. And I think that's really cool too, that they're really a part of the community, and they not only are really good at communicating and giving us information on their stuff, but they're active on their social media and they will respond to your comments. So I think that's really cool to see as well. So that'll do it on the Williams Pinball Pack, and my top 3, what I'd like to see. But that stream, what they were just responding about right there and sending that link to us, that's coming up on the 31st. So in 1 week, Pinball FX is going to have a live stream, their Pinball Bites, and they're going to reveal those next 2 in that Williams Pinball Pack. That may actually be the release date for that Williams Pinball Pack as well. So I'd be ready to download that very soon, because it could come as soon as the 31st, which is Thursday, so a week from tomorrow. Video Game Vegas says, I really enjoy your commentary. Maybe we'll both be on the show together sometime. You have some great takes. Yeah, that would be great. Video Game Vegas, get your commentary as well on things. I'd love to see you. I've seen you once, I think, on a live stream. It'd be good to see more of that in the community, to see your commentary. He also says Pinball or Pinbot is a staple. I have the Pinbot trilogy on my Arcade1up Attack from Mars. So it's going to be the original, the Bride of Pinbot, and the Jackbot. Wingo is here, says AtGames doesn't even allow comments. Yeah, talking about how well, Zen Studios runs their social media, how well they communicate with their fans and their customers. AtGames, I would say, is like the exact opposite of that. They don't really allow much as far as comments. If they do, they'll delete them. They'll hide it. Their official Facebook group that they run is very strict. They don't allow you to share much unless it's positive. If you got anything negative to say, they're going to pretty much delete it or ban you. So AtGames is like the total opposite of that. Also, they're very much they're not reliable. They will give you guys dates. They will advertise dates for new tables. They will even release media about new tables that are releasing, and then maybe that next day delay it. And that happens it's very common for them. It happens all the time. We most recently saw it with that Honor and Legacy table, and then we found out today that their Zaccaria tables are also delayed. So there's a lot going on behind the scenes with AtGames. I wish the best for them. I really hope they're able to get back to normal and able to be more reliable and stick to dates that they promise us and release the things we want to see from them. But things are not going well for them right now. I'm not going to get into too much detail with AtGames tonight because it's kind of depressing to talk about with them. But I think there's still light at the end of the tunnel. I think they've got a great product with the 4KP. I think they've got a great relationship going with Zen Studios. And whatever's going on, I hope they can figure out, because I want to get a at games 4KP, and I want to get the skin that I want to, get like Star Wars or maybe potentially Elvira, like we were discussing earlier. Those things can only come if they are making money, and I want to see them be profitable and carry on to next year and many years into the future. All right, so let's take a look next at this Golden Tee Classics. So I talked about this release because I think it really fits our home arcade community. Also, we have the Arcade1up Golden Tee cabinet, and we've also got New Wave Toys releasing their micro miniature scale Golden Tee here very soon with Glenn's trackball, and it's going to have that standalone Golden Tee arcade control panel. And I just thought this was really cool. We're going to get a standalone physical release for consoles for Golden Tee. And you can get it on the Switch or the PS5. This is now available. And let's take a look at it. So if you were to pre-order, I don't think these are available anymore, but you can definitely see how they were marketing. They were gearing this towards an arcade enthusiast with these marquees. And you had the 3D, the Golden Tee 2K, and Classic marquees that came with it if you were to pre-order. I thought that was really cool. Great to see. And Atari is doing all this. Atari owns Digital Eclipse, and Digital Eclipse has made some really great retro-style console games, beat-em-up games. I went through recently in a stream all the Digital Eclipse games that they've made over the years, and they've been bringing out some bangers for the retro community, that's for sure. And this Golden Tee Arcade Classics just adds to that library. Excellent release. These are the games you're getting. You're getting all the Golden Tee Classic, from the 90s and early 2000s, as well as Shuffle Shot and World Class Bowling, all on this release. Just thinking, this would be a good one to get. Maybe if you're modding like an Arcade1up, you want to put like a PC or a Switch in it, or your old. It's a PS5. I don't think they have this on PS4, but I was going to say a PS4 in your Arcade1up or something like that. You could essentially do that because your USB trackball, if you have a USB trackball that works with like a computer or works with a lot of devices, it will also work very well with this game. They've advertised that it is trackball compatible with USB trackball devices. So a lot of modern modding opportunity, I think, with this title. If you're able to reuse older consoles, older PCs, that with this release opens the door up for that. So great release, Golden Tee Arcade Classics. It is full price right now, so I don't think I'm going to run out and get this release. But when it goes on sale, I definitely think I will. Let's see what it's running for right now on Steam, because that would likely be the platform I would get it on, is Steam. And it looks like it's going for $29.99, so $30 for this one. I'm not going to pay $30 for that, but I may pay 15, or I may pay $20. But like as soon as I see it on sale, I think that's going to be when I go for this one. So $29.99 for PS5. It does say PS4 as well, so looks like you can play it on PS4 if like you have an old PS4 you want to reuse to like mod an arcade with. It looks like you could do that. And this is a Digital Eclipse is the developer, and Atari is the publisher. And Atari is putting out some really good stuff right now. A lot of really good releases. See if I can bring up some of those games that they've been releasing lately. So the Atari 50th collection is one of them. They've also got, let's take a look at this here. They're going to be doing the Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection. So that's a big one. I talked about this recently, how big of a deal this Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection is going to be. This is going to be the ultimate collection of Mortal Kombat games. And it's going to have like all the versions. It's going to have the console versions as well as the arcade ROMs. And it's going to have, I think, even Mortal Kombat 4 on it. So this is coming from them as well. So Atari is really making some bangers right now for like the retro nostalgia. Also, you know, they made these Atari recharge games as well, which are really cool, more modern versions of classic arcade games. So very cool stuff that Atari is putting out. And I definitely have my eye on what they're doing. And it's great to see that stuff getting released. All right, so those were pretty much all the slides that I had. There were some other things we had covered during that stream, but those were like the main things I wanted to cover with you guys were those slides, just because I'd put a lot of time in on Sunday to make those. And I had those issues with the microphone. You guys couldn't hear me. And I just wanted to make sure that I was able to at least share that stuff with you guys and you know, kind of give my opinion on what I thought about some of this stuff. Also, give us a place to hang out tonight as well. I think maybe I probably should stream more often than I do. You know, try to stick to like once a week, but really I don't see why I don't stream more often. I mean, if you guys want to watch and you guys want to hang out, the more the better. You know, I'm all about it. Devastator Omega's here. He's saying Tank Stick plus PS5, Xbox plus Golden Tee. Definitely, absolutely. Mikey says these retro games always go on sale. That's what I'm waiting for. A little bit of money off, and I'll pull the trigger on that Golden Tee, because I never bought an Arcade1up Golden Tee. Basically, where I've been playing it is on my At Games Legends Ultimate with the coin ops. But it'd be nice to have a physical version of it that I can play. And if I get it on Steam, I can plug it into my At Games Legends Ultimate, put it into OTG mode, and I think most likely be able to use that trackball on my Legends Ultimate with it. Hayden Dew is here. He's saying Atari 50th plus, or Atari 50th X Midway coming soon. Awesome. I have not seen that. The fact that you can get both Midway Classics and Atari 50th games in one collection is awesome to hear. Keep them coming, Atari. Mikey says, stream more often, dude. That's what I'm thinking. I'm going to start doing this more rather than less, because I enjoy it, and if you guys enjoy it, I'm all about it. And Mikey's with Glenn's Trackball. Also, I used to do a lot of gameplay live streaming. I do enjoy that, but I feel more disconnected from the community and like the viewers when I'm gaming, because I'm more focused on the game. I like more sitting and just observing the comments, you know, sharing those comments on the stream, making it a part of the show. Also, you guys bring up really good points, new ideas, things to discuss, and I enjoy that aspect of it too. It also makes for really good content. People will like rewatch these streams, or if they miss the live stream, they'll watch it throughout the week, you know, in the background just to listen to, and makes for good content when you guys are active in the chat and you're bringing up new ideas, new things to discuss. So definitely continue with that. All right, so I had issues with my computer on Sunday. I've had this gaming PC sitting to the right of me for 7 years. I started off, I bought it for gaming. That was my primary reason for getting it. Had a pretty nice graphics card for it at the time, and bought it for PC gaming. For the first 3 years, that's all I did on it. And then I got into YouTube, and for the last 4 years, I've just been streaming on it. I've used it as my primary streaming device. I wouldn't do anything on it except for streaming, because I wanted it to last as long as it could, and I wanted to keep it all focused on my streams. And I've been doing that for the last 4 years. And off and on, I've had little issues with like USB ports going out, or, you know, going into you know, task manager and things, and looking at the errors that it was throwing, and seeing that, you know, there were some failure on some of the ports and maybe the motherboard. But I've been continuing to troubleshoot those issues to keep it going. And actually for the last, I would say, year and a half, 2 years, it's done very well. I've had no issues with it at all. But I knew that something was going to happen to it eventually, because all technology, especially computers, start to have issues with age. You know, working in IT over the years, I've learned this, is that technology changes. It not only becomes more advanced, but also computers especially start failing. and I knew this one was going to eventually start that process. So I already had my eye on like new computers and what I would do if that one were to quit working. Well, on Sunday, I received a Windows update right before my stream with Bill's Retro Show. Literally like 10 minutes before we went live, I ran a Windows update and went live right after the Windows update. And people in the chat were complaining that they could not hear me. People were complaining that Bill was too loud and they couldn't hear me at all. And I just couldn't figure out what was going on. I thought it had something to do with my mic or maybe my settings within Restream, because sometimes Restream can be the problem. Well, then as soon as I got off, I kind of rewatched some of the stream and I could see the issues. So I went back to my computer that night, started troubleshooting, and I realized it was a computer issue because I would take these mics and I'd plug them into my computer in the living room, and I had no issues with the mics. So I knew it was related to the computer. So I got on ChatGPT and it started running me through all these different processes of updating drivers and reinstalling, doing BIOS updates, reinstalling Windows, testing ports, testing cables, testing different accessories, all kinds of stuff. I mean, literally just going going on and on. Like I use ChatGPT a lot, but one I really like even better is Gemini. Gemini is a beast. It gives you more information. It's easier to use. It also doesn't restrict your use, where ChatGPT will like restrict your use of like you have to pay in order, you have to have like a membership in order to use all the features of it. Gemini hasn't gotten to that point of it because it's pretty new. It's Google's version of ChatGPT. I know in the future they're going to start charging, but they haven't yet. But I'll just show you guys, kind of give you guys like an idea here of everything that I did, so you can see what I've been through over the last couple days. So see here, make sure I don't have anything here you guys shouldn't be reading. Nope. Okay. All right. Everything looks good there. But here's everything that I did, right? So I confirmed the mics work on different PCs. I did an in-place upgrade and installed all Windows updates. I installed the latest AMD Adrenalin drivers, chipset, and graphics. I successfully updated the BIOS and even fixed a webcam issue that started occurring right after that. I tested a new user profile, ruling out profile corruption. I disabled USB selective suspend. I tested with a powerful USB hub, which confirmed the issue isn't related to insufficient power. I temporarily disabled other audio devices, and I even confirmed audio services were running correctly. Basically, it got to the point where they're like, you just need to do like a fresh install, like a complete fresh install of Windows. Well, I've got so much stuff backed up on this computer, so much stuff I've been doing over the years for YouTube and all that, that like I was just like, I'm not going to do through all that on a 7-year-old computer. So I told them what I did. I ended up buying an entirely new PC because this current PC, the one that we were troubleshooting, doesn't support Windows 11. The processor doesn't run Windows 11, so I'll never be able to upgrade it to Windows 11. So I told them I got a new PC, said that that's great. And it said, here's the information on the PC I got. I got an Intel i5 1440F. This isn't the greatest graphics card. It's actually kind of like an entry-level graphics card. It's an Intel Arc 8380 graphics, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 16 gigabytes of RAM, storage 256, which is really small, but I can definitely upgrade the hard drive on my own. And then it's Windows 11 compatible. I paid out the door with tax $464. So I asked AI, you know, what other deals have been out there? Because I noticed Woot had some deals, but they were not available anymore. And I provided them the link right here. And it said there was one at $1,000 in the past. and then there was one at $599 and $499. So I got a really good deal. I paid $429 before tax on this one. It says it features a new 14th gen i5, good graphics card. And I said, do you feel I made a good purchase, and will my mics work well with my new computer? And it said, this is a very significant decision, and it sounds like you've made a good move, especially given the persistent and unresolvable issues with your old PC's microphone audio. It says, let's break down your thing here. It says right here, this is what I love. Because being a shopper and trying to find deals, you guys know how much I just love deals. It said you got an absolutely fantastic deal, paying $464.82 for a brand new gaming desktop with a 14th gen Intel i5 and a discrete GPU, especially from an original price of $950, is an excellent purchase. You've saved $520. Overall, yes, you've made a very good purchase. For the price you paid, you're getting a modern, capable machine that will be a significant upgrade from my old machine. And it said, yes, I have high confidence that your new mics, which this is the one I'm using right now. I also have that Bigfoot that I told you is kind of going out. This one here, I think, is starting to have issues, even though I really liked it. They're saying those microphones should work perfectly with this new PC. So that's all really good to hear. But it's just awesome how like AI can like give you all this information. It's like, you know, you work with IT to do all this stuff. AI is essentially like your IT now, or can be your IT. You can actually have like discussions with it and stuff. Ask it for advice. And I just love it. So here is the one I got. If you guys want to see it, it's the Victus HP 15L gaming desktop. Keep in mind, I paid $429 for this. So thank goodness I did not buy the Switch 2 at $500. Plus, I would have had to buy a controller. Plus, I would have had to buy the new Donkey Kong game. I probably would have been at like $700. Good thing I didn't run out and get that, because I needed that money to get this new PC. But just thinking I got like this new gaming computer for much less than what even a Switch 2 cost, it's just mind-boggling to think that how expensive like these new gaming consoles are today. So this is what I ended up getting here. And these are all like the specs. But bottom line, this is going to work for what I need it to work for. Also, what's good about this is that this other gaming PC that was having issues with the audio, with the mics, I'm not going to use it any longer for that. Everything else works. So what I've been doing is I've been installing a bunch of games on it again. And I've been getting it prepared to start using it for gaming again. I'm going to hook it up to my TV in the living room and hook up my Xbox controller to it. And I'm going to start using it like a console and get back to PC gaming, because I've stacked up a lot of PC games over these last few months, because I've got like an Amazon Prime membership, as well as I've got GOG, I've got Epic Games. There's really good deals. So I've got like big collections of PC games that I've neglected to play just because my gaming PC that had a graphics card has been used for this. It's been used for streaming. So I want to show you guys my collection of GOG games that I've collected over the last year, just having an Amazon Prime membership, because Amazon Prime has what's called Amazon Prime Gaming, and Amazon Prime Gaming gives you like free games all the time. And a lot of these games I could not play on this PC I'm streaming with because the graphics card wasn't powerful enough. This new PC I'm getting will be used for streaming. Opens this one up that I had mic issues with for gaming again. So some ones like on the GOG list here that I installed this Mafia 3 on that PC today. I'm going to start playing this. This is a game from 2020, which looks pretty good. It's kind of like a Grand Theft Auto, but it's set in like the 70s or 60s, and it's part of like the mob. So I'm going to start playing that one. Some other ones here that really needed that gaming PC to play. was going to be, where is it? So the Saints Row would definitely need a graphics card for that one. May end up playing that one. Let's see, are there any others that I just have to play here soon? So for GOG, that's probably it. The only one I'm going to probably jump into immediately right now is this Mafia 3 for GOG. So let's take a look here. I got another really big game for free from this Amazon Prime membership. So let me bring up Epic Games now so you can see this one, because a lot of these are still available. So if you guys were just to go get an Amazon Prime membership for 1 month, you would be able to download these games and you could own them. So this is the one that I got recently, Midnight Suns, for free. So see here if I can bring it up on the store. It's a Marvel game. And I'm about to jump into this one. Let's see, here it is. And it's got like Wolverine, it's got Spider-Man, Iron Man, Scarlet Witch, Ghost Rider, Blade. I don't know who this lady is here in the middle. It's only $8.99 right now, 85% off. But essentially you could get like a Prime membership for 1 month and get this game for free. And this is a more modern game, came out in 2022. So I definitely need a gaming PC to play this one. So I'm about to jump into this one. Looks like a lot of fun. So go check that out. And so that's one really good thing I think about this whole situation, is it gets me back into using this PC for gaming again, which I've just been playing console games over these last few years. So it'll be fun to get back into my PC and playing those games. Let's take a look here too, guys, at my website. So I always have been updating my website with my videos, as well as I'm not great with updating my shorts. Every once in a while, if a short does really well, I'll put it on here so you guys can watch it on here. Also, all the live streams go in here so you guys can watch that. Every once in a while, if there's big news, like right now, there's a big VR giveaway going on right now. You guys got to go check this out and enter into this. I've entered into it and I've got basically as many entries as I can into this contest. They're giving away a what do they call this thing? Arcade to TV /HR bundle worth $400. They're giving away a VR headset, a MetaQuest 3S, as well as the Pinball Pack Tomb Raider and other downloadable FX VR games. So enter into this. I've got a direct link to it on the website. So if there's big news, I'll put that in there. Also got the channel store. Now, one thing is the contact form I do have on here, but just be forewarned, I don't typically check these emails. I hardly ever do. So it's really there for like if we run a giveaway, which we're going to be doing here very soon. What I'll do is I'll have you guys contact me through this form so I can get the prizes to you. So we're on our 97th Chillin' Chat. Hopefully we'll have our 98th this week, 99 the following week, and then we're on our 100th episode. I'm going to do a big giveaway on that 100th Chillin' Chat. So that's what we'll use that form for. But also I've been putting in like the media for the streams too. So like not every stream, but a lot of streams, like I'll put the media into here so you guys can go back and you can look at all these slides. Just to kind of go back over these. You know, I talked a lot about this X Arcade. I am actually a part of their influencer affiliate program now. So I have an affiliate link for the X Arcade now. And maybe I'll start sharing that here soon when we do more segments on the X Arcade, because that's brand new. I just got that affiliate set up within the last week. So I haven't shared that with you guys yet. But once we get into a full segment on X Arcade again, like I did this week of this stream, we'll go over that affiliate link I have. But this is the haptics kit. Discuss this. This thing's coming. This is going to be great for FX VR pinball. So definitely looking forward to this coming out. Honor and Legacy. This pack was basically officially going to release for the At Games, but it's been heavily delayed. Who knows when this is coming now? But it will be $15 when it does come. Basic Fun. We had that Mortal Kombat Classics come over. Essentially, what we think it's just this little handheld right here. Don't expect them to be releasing a Mortal Kombat 3/4 scale like those other Basic Fun arcades. Talked about this with Bill, talking about how like your ball top will come off on your arcades, and different ways you can keep that ball top on there. Is one way you can get like a wrench. You can screw that ball top on real tight with a wrench. However, I'm a little bit worried about scratching the metal on that joystick, so I don't do it that way. I'll wrap a little bit of electrical tape around the threads, and then I'll screw the ball top or the bat top onto those threads, and that seems to keep that on pretty well. Like the glue and just how much more secure it is, it doesn't come off. But if you were to ever need to get it to come off, you could. I did do a short on Super Mario Galaxy 2, which is doing very well. A lot of people have been responding to that short and very interested in the information given in it, but evidently there is a lot of speculation that the next Switch 2 first-party release after this DK Bonanza was going to be Super Mario Galaxy 2. I actually bought this game for my Wii U, and I've been playing it. Really fun platformer Mario game that I never played. It came out in 2010, but a lot of fun. I did watch this Ironheart TV show, and talking about TV, talking about movies, that brings up a good point. Wanted to discuss with you guys a little bit of movie talk. So let me get that pulled up, because I saw Superman. Superman was really good. I would give it like an 8.5 out of 10. There were definitely some things I think with Superman that they could have done better. Like, I definitely think they could have get this here where you can see this in his suit, working at his news desk and all that. But very short part of the movie, didn't really dive too deep into the Clark Kent storyline, which I wish they would have done a little bit more. Now, it's not a origin story, but overall, man, if you guys have not seen this movie, go see it. Get out there in the theater and see it. I'm not a big movie goer. I only go see movies really during the summer and during the winter when the big movies are coming out, and then I'll go like back to back each week. And that's what I've been doing this week is, I saw Superman, and then been watching some good movies at home as well. I watched, Minecraft. I watched the new Sinners movie. So Minecraft is really good because it's like a lot of arcade nostalgia in the Minecraft movie. Jason Momoa plays a arcade gamer, like a professional arcade gamer who has like the record score in all the arcade games. And just a really fun, stupid movie, but a lot of fun. I'm not even a big Minecraft fan, never really played the game, but love the movie. Also, Sinners. This is a movie by, I think his name's Ryan Coogler, who did the Black Panther movies. He did a movie called Sinners, which is a vampire movie. And one of my favorite movies growing up was From Dusk Till Dawn. Quentin Tarantino was in it. George Clooney. Great vampire movie where like they're stuck in this bar out in Mexico, and these vampires, like just at the border of Texas and Mexico, they like take over this bar. Just talking about it makes me want to go rewatch it again. And it's just this huge battle throughout the whole movie of them like killing all these vampires till the sun comes up. Well, I don't want to give anything away with Sinners. All I'll say is it's very similar, but in a very different way. It's set in like the early 1910s or maybe like early 1920s. I don't think they give the exact date of the movie, like what year it was, but it's set around that time, late teens, early 20s, where there's like Model T cars and there's a lot of segregation still, and it's really good. It is such an amazing movie, a lot of fun. Wish I would have gone to see it at the theater. Unfortunately, I didn't. I had to watch it at home because it's on HBO Max now. Wish I would have seen it in theater. Do not skip out on the end credit scene. Wait till the credits finish, because there's like a really long, like 10-minute long end credit scene, which is just amazing. My favorite part of the movie was the end credits. So go check that out, guys. All right, so another movie I wanted to discuss with you guys is this one here. Let's get a little preview going. So I already got my tickets. I saw Superman early. I saw it 3 days early, thanks to my Prime membership. I got a ticket for tomorrow night for Fantastic Four at 3:30 p.m. my time. So I'm going to get there before the rush. I'm going to try and get off work right at 3 o'clock, and I got a theater just right across the street from me. I'm going to go over there and see Fantastic Four tomorrow. So I'll let you guys know. I did kind of promise a out of the theater reaction to Superman. That night I saw Superman was a long day for me. Kind of had a headache that day, and it didn't feel too good after the movie. So I just ended up cutting out the whole out of the theater reaction, because I was going to do it like in the hallway at the theater, but there were so many people there and everything. I was like, I just don't want to mess with this. There's another guy that reviews movies on YouTube that I watch. His name is 3C, 3C Films. And I noticed he did an out of the theater reaction last night to this movie, and he just did it in his car. Like, he went to his car and just held a cell phone up at his face in his car, and the audio was terrible, but he gave his points. He gave, his raw reaction to the movie, and I thought it was excellent, because that's when all the thoughts are going that you really think of about the movie, is like right when you get out of the theater. So in order to remember all that stuff, there's no better way of doing that than to document it like he did. Just even if it looks and sounds bad, at least you're getting that documented for everyone to check out. And if they're interested in hearing your opinion, they'll be able to know it. So I'm going to try and do that tomorrow after the movie. But everything I'm hearing about this one is it's really good, kind of opposite of Superman in that it's not like an uplifting, happy movie. It's kind of like a dark, depressing movie because the stakes are so high. You have Galactus, this huge giant villain who's like bigger than the Earth, who comes to the Earth, and he's basically going to destroy the planet. And the whole movie takes place with this storyline. So it's kind of a dark and depressing movie. And if you know anything about Avengers Doomsday, and if you had watched the end credit scene for the recent Marvel movie, which it's slipping my mind right now, but it was kind of like their version of Suicide Squad. What the heck is that? Because I still have not seen it, guys. Just, disclaimer. I have not seen this movie. It should be hitting Disney Plus any day now. So I should know the name of it, and I should know it. What is the name? I know they're called the New Avengers. They changed it to the New Avengers, but what was it originally called? You guys can... Thunderbolts. Thank you, Devastator. Thunderbolts. I have not seen it yet, so just, forewarned on that. I have not seen that yet. But evidently at the end of Thunderbolts, there's an end credit scene, and Fantastic Four arrives to this universe, which is our planet, Earth, and there's a lot of speculation at the end of Fantastic Four that their planet gets destroyed by Galactus. So this movie's going to be very different, I think, than Superman. Basically, is the point I'm trying to get across. But everything I've been hearing is it's excellent. It's very well written. I know a lot of people are getting superhero fatigue from Pedro Pascal because of he's been in so much stuff. The Last of Us. He's been on a lot of movies lately. He's probably going to have like 4 or 5 movies come out this year. But he does very well. He's such a great actor. I hear his performance is really good in this movie. So I'm looking forward to this one. It wasn't all about the female Silver Surfer when I first heard about it, but there is a female Silver Surfer in the comics. So this does fit the actual comics. And I'm looking forward to it. And if you guys have seen, one of the biggest lines from the movie is where she's like saying, I herald Galactus, you know, and that's some lines from the actual comic book. And you just hear her say those lines, and they just come across so well. It sounds so cool when she's saying it. So I'm really looking forward to her performance. Her name's Julia something. But I know I used to watch that show Ozark, and she was one of the main characters in Ozark, and she's really good in that show. So I think she's going to do very well with this Silver Surfer role as well. Also, a lot of people have been complaining about, you know, the look of the Silver Surfer doesn't look as good as like the Rise of the Silver Surfer from 20 years ago when that Fantastic Four movie came out. But they say the CGI and the special effects that we're seeing in these trailers do not match what's going to be in the movie itself. Actually, the CGI is much more improved in the movie itself than what we're seeing in the trailers. So that's another positive for it, is that it actually looks absolutely amazing. And from a lot of the reviews I'm hearing right now is they say if there's a way to see it in IMAX, go see it in IMAX, because Galactus is so big and he's just so, like, you know, overwhelming to the audience that if you were to see it in IMAX, it really does it justice. So we don't have an IMAX theater at this theater by me, so I didn't get IMAX tickets, but I did get 3D tickets. So I will be seeing this in 3D with the 3D glasses. So I'll let you guys know, you know, how did that look? Do I recommend you guys go see it in 3D? I'll try and let you guys know that tomorrow afternoon, evening, when I get out of the theater. Let's bring up some comments based on just, you know, the movie talk. And because this is the time for movies. We're in July. This is prime for movies, and the best ones are going to come out right now. We also have some really big movies coming in Christmas that they're starting to advertise as well. The Mortal Kombat movie, the new Tron Ares movie. So really good stuff coming later this year as well. Mikey says, who's down for some mini golf? I'm down for some mini golf. I actually got to play with P-Dubs a couple nights ago, just him and I. We had a really good time, and it'd been weeks since I played mini golf, so I'm definitely down to play tonight, Mikey, if you want to play after this. I am not on the Discord anymore. I deleted my Discord account. It was just far too much social media for me, you know, with Facebook, with YouTube, with what else? Twitter, all the different social medias. Having Discord was just not beneficial for me. There was more negative coming out of that me being on Discord than positive. So I made that call to delete it. And I don't know, I think you may be on Facebook, Mikey. You can message me there. Or, you know, I know Papa Brad's in the chat. If you guys all want to play mini golf tonight, let's figure that out. I'm down to play. Mikey's saying the Mac is better than the PC, he says. Dude, aren't you an IT guy? I definitely am an IT guy. Even though I've been in IT for a very long time, I'm not really technically IT anymore. I'm a software support position, more of a customer software support position now. I'm not like your run-of-the-mill IT anymore. More of like a system administrator kind of person now. Devastator Omega says, have to have a minimum of 12 gigabytes of video RAM with GPU. Okay, see, I've only got a 6 gigabyte on that PC I ended up getting. Video Game Vegas says, I have a very expensive PC that wouldn't upgrade to Windows 11, but because it was missing the TPM 2.0. Figured it out. I had to go into the BIOS and find out. So I found out my processors just will not support Windows 11. So it's just not an option for me to upgrade. So I'm going to just keep it around as a primarily gaming PC. Just play my Steam, my GOG, my Epic games on it, which is great because I haven't had a standalone PC for that in a while. Also, I want to play, maybe I can bring up my Steam with you guys because I want to show you like some games that I have on this current PC I'm streaming on that I've been able to hook up to my At Games Legends Ultimate and play OTG and have a lot of fun with. But there's been other games that I haven't been able to because the graphics card I have on this current PC I'm on right now just does not have the power to run a lot of the bigger games. So here is my Steam. And basically, so this Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, you can pretty much play on any PC. So I've been doing that. But there's a couple of standouts here that I'd wanted. So Tekken 7 is one I wanted to play on my ALU but couldn't. Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite is another one. The more modern Killer Instinct. Anything else? So these are some light gun games that I've been able to play on this current PC I'm on right now with very little graphic power. But the new one will easily play them. Now, another one's at Pinball FX and Pinball M. Could not play them because my this PC I'm on is not powerful enough for these two pinball games to run. I will be able to run those, and I have the pinball buttons on the At Games Legends Ultimate, and I've gone as far as programming the buttons to where the pinball buttons are recognized on the ALU. And what you use for that is called Joy to Key. And if you, Wagner's Tech Talk can teach you all about how to use Joy to Key so you can OTG your pinball games. So looking forward to that, getting into more PC gaming. BioShock, lots of good games. Tomb Raider. Some of these chats are from earlier. Mikey is saying, I heard Crypto stole the show in this movie. Absolutely did. Let's see here. Mikey says, fun fact, I was in a Superman 2 LL as an extra. I think I heard you say that once before. Very cool to know that. Retro Legends Arcade, great live stream, goes on Fridays, is here. Papa Brad's Gaming says, I want to see Superman. We have his origin story and a ton of times. Super Pug, the dog. Mikey says Minecraft was dog shit in my opinion. I liked it. He also says Sinners is good. He wants to see 28 Years Later. Have not seen 28 Years Later. I did see 28 Days Later. It was good. I do want to see it. Video Game Vegas says Fantastic Four. No thanks. No more woke superhero movies. Woke wearing a Fantastic Four skin suit. Also, you got the girl boss going on in Fantastic Four, I hear, where she kind of runs the show. Invisible girl or woman. WTF, no more gender swaps, Retro Legends says. Thunderbolts will never be the Avengers. Yeah, so it was originally the Thunderbolts, and then they changed it to the New Avengers. Can't believe I forgot about the name. I still haven't seen the movie. That's probably why. But I will see it here very soon when it releases on Disney+. Devastator Omega says Thunderbolts eventually Juggernaut from Deadpool joins that team. Very cool. All right. So movie talk, TV talk, home arcade talk. Really can't think of much else that I can cover tonight. We've been streaming for an hour and 47 minutes, so this has been a full show tonight, which has been great to catch up with everybody and to be able to share this stuff with you, especially testing my microphone. Evidently, I guess the microphone's doing well. Maybe I didn't need to run out and go buy a gaming PC because this one seems to work for streaming. I probably could have gotten away with this one, but it'll be nice to have a more modern PC for this use. And never can have enough PCs. But again, I didn't buy the Switch 2. I had that money to spend. So I pulled the trigger, and according to Gemini, I made a great purchase, got a fantastic deal. Could have always gotten a more powerful PC, but also wanted to do it for low cost. And I think for $430 to get a modern gaming PC, I did well. Video Game Vegas says, great show, Biggie D. I really appreciate that, guys. Thank you so much for hanging out tonight and being a part of the stream. Papa Brad's Gaming came in at the very end here to support the channel with a $2 super chat saying, thanks for streaming. Really appreciate the $2, Papa Brad. I can't thank you enough for that super chat and your support. You've always been one of the biggest supporters of this show, and I really enjoy your channels, your content, and also just being a friend of yours. You know, I've got a lot of friends in the community, but I can always say a lot of the people in the chat, and especially Papa Brad, has always been one of the best friends I've had in this community. He's always had my back, always been a big supporter, and I really appreciate that. And just want to thank you for everything you've been able to help me with, and just being a good friend. But definitely, guys, have a great rest of the week. We're midweek here. We're on hump day. Have a great rest of the week. Make sure to tune in on Sunday, because we're going to stream again from this PC and do a full show. And I will get my new PC next week, and that'll be a whole nother thing, setting that up. I'm going to try and... I was heavy on the shorts. Even got a video out last week. We'll see if I can continue that momentum later this week and over the weekend. Let's take a look at our poll. I'm going to go ahead and end it now. We've got a total of 28 votes. Very good turnout on the votes. Says, which Arcade1up are you most excited for? Number one vote was neither. So 82% of the vote. So if we were to have 10 people in a room, over 8 of those people were going to say they don't want either the Big Buck or the T2. They're just not interested. 11% said T2. 7%, the smallest amount, less than one person in that room would have wanted the Big Buck Mossy Oak. That's what I would have voted for, is the Big Buck Mossy Oak. I actually do want to get one, but like I'd explained to you guys earlier, I'm going to go for a deal. I'm not going to pay full price. It's not that good. And there hasn't been an arcade that's been good enough to pay full price yet. The only home arcade that I've paid full price for is my iArcade. And I bought that used from P-Dubs, but I actually paid him, I think it was $400 or $500 for that iArcade. And that was a solid purchase. And I felt that was a good purchase, even at that high amount, because I've done so much with it. But you guys have a great night. I just ended the poll, so that'll wrap up that. And Papa Brad says, thank you. Mikey says, Biggie D, let's get on mini golf. Let's do it. Let's get on mini golf right after the stream and catch up, dude. I appreciate it. All right, guys, y'all have a good one. I'll see everyone in the next one. I'll talk to y'all later. See you later, guys. Bye.